has a lot of the tenets that you want in a successful coach. You know what I'm saying? But he's still got to grow and get out of the rookie mistakes. But I think he's got all the base characteristics of being a great coach. And what worries me is that because look at what's coming next year. And this was hinted at in Mary Kay's article as well, which is not only are you reading the tea leaves of dysfunction again in the inner workings of the Browns, but you've got a tough schedule coming next year with some defenses that eat teams alive. You don't know if the front office, and that's the other thing, is there's the insinuation in Mary Kay's article that Shanahan is of the belief that Ray Farmer, at least, has decided to bring John Manziel back, and he wants no part of having to coach that because he is not of the belief. He is definitely in the camp of those that do not believe John Manziel is worth developing in the NFL, and they look at that. They look at the uncertainty coming next year and then a schedule of defenses that eat quarterbacks alive, and you go, wow, I don't know, because if things go south, you could end up, say they all come back, you could end up losing a bunch of coaches. Say you come back and just it all falls off the rails against that schedule and you have a terrible season, you end up losing Mike Pettine. And that's the roundabout of what I was saying with Pettine is you may end up losing a coach who could truly have been a really good coach, and I don't mean that about all of them. I mean, it's not like Chud left the Browns and people went, wow, that's a future genius that the Browns let go. I thought he was worth another year, but I didn't know if he would. But there's something about Pettine that tells me this guy can be a legit NFL coach, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. He's got that, whatever it is that you feel you've got in a good leader, I think he's got it. But you end up screwing things up and starting the whole vicious cycle all over again. And it just, again, you wonder how much of this is dredged in reality and how much of it is an exit strategy. You know, Shanahan, and I think his exit will tell a lot, by the way. You can say he wants to coach with his dad, and that's probably true too. But if he leaves for any opportunity, that will tell a lot, because that is just trying to get out of Dodge. If he leaves for only a better opportunity or a specific opportunity, that's different, because you do have to, advance your career. Obviously, being a head coach is a goal for anybody. But I got to tell you, man, I don't know. With all of this, I don't really see a situation where either way he comes back with the Browns. He could, but now, oh, shit. If you think the media last year over Hoyer and all of that, you think this storyline wouldn't be beaten down day after day after day all the way up? Oh, yeah, I can't see a scenario where the Browns do not end up with a different offensive coordinator out of this and Shanahan ends up somewhere else. Could be wrong. Very curious to see what you guys think. I've got callers on hold. I'm going to go to the phones now. Then we'll get John McMullen in on the phone. I want to see where he's at with this thing and so much more. Let's go to the phones right now. 216-539-7535, the number to call. I'm going to go to the phones. Caller, you're up on the Sports Fix. Caller.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, man? Who's this?
This is Kevin from Pennsylvania.
What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I've been a Browns fan since Brian Sipes days.
All right.
And one thing you can say that was consistent was the ownership was a consistent ownership at the time. Everybody was on the same sheet of music. And that comes down as a positive thing for the team. Since the Browns have been back since '99, we've been through four owners. I still don't like Haslam as the owner, because I think he had too much to do with the ins and outs of the games. My thing is, let the coaches coach and let the players play. That's my thing right there. The situation with Shanahan, he's the offensive coordinator, and he does a very good job, and his opinion should count for something. If he's telling you that Johnny Manziel is not the answer, then you need to listen to that. Cut your losses and move on. If we lose him to a better situation, then I'm happy for him. But you look at Bruce Arians, he was in Boston. I mean, he was in Cleveland also. It just seemed like, man, we're going through the same thing over and over and over again. And as a fan, you get frustrated and you get tired of going through the same things over and over again. Mike Pettine is a good coach. I think Chud should have got another year. like you said, because of all the injuries and things that were going on. I think he should get another year. Even the players get tired of the carousel of coaches coming in and out. And when the players get tired, then they're gonna shut down, and they're gonna go somewhere else and play.
Bro, you just described the vicious cycle of Cleveland sports. You did. You just summed it up in a nutshell, because that's what happens. It's one thing and then the next, and then the players get tired, and then they go somewhere else, and then you bring in new coaches, and you bring in new players, and then they get tired, and then they go somewhere else, and it's a vicious cycle, my man.
I mean, if you could think of, look how long it took them to get a coach for last year's season. I mean, you know, we all know that, you know, you had a GM, you get a coach, then you get a GM. Then that's not the coach the GM wants, and that's not the GM the coach wants. So now you got an issue with that right there, okay? Mm-hmm. So on paper, in public, they could say that they're, you know, everything is gravy, but it's not, because maybe that's not the man that Farmer wanted, and Pettine may not be the GM that may not be the GM that Pettine wanted. So right there, that was bad soup in the making from the very beginning. They went about the whole thing of getting the coach last year was wrong. You had coaches didn't want to interview for the job. So I got to tell you something right there. And they need to the front office need to get it together, and they need to come on one accord so that the coaches can come on one accord. We got the talent right now, even with Josh Gordon or without Josh Gordon, with Johnny Manziel or without Johnny Manziel. We got what we need to be a competitive team. Now, to say this, next season they play the NFC West.
Yeah, and the AFC West, both Wests. They've got both Wests, man. The AFC and the NFC. Yeah.
You got and you got Seattle, you got the Rams, you got San Francisco. Everybody got a decent defense out there.
Arizona,
okay?
You know.
And depending on when those games are being played, or if they're home or away, whatever. Home, you got it's okay, because a lot of teams, like, you know, you got Arizona, you got the Rams. They both play in the dome. Okay, so depending on when the Browns play them during the season, the game may differ.
Right. Even Seattle's a different team on the road than they are at home, even though they're still a great team either way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to go to Seattle. You can chalk it pretty much no matter who's the quarterback next year. But, you know,
right.
You know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. So that right there within itself is going to be a struggle offensively against those games. I mean, I'm just, you know, like I said, I've been a Brown fan since I've been a little kid. I'm 50 years old. And I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. And I'm at the point now where I'm ready to have a fire sale with all my Browns gear and be done with them.
You know what?
Because I deserve better. As a fan, we deserve better. We deserve 100% from everybody to get the job done. We've lost some games this season, you know, at the last second or turnovers or whatever the case can be. I can understand that. We have been really competitive this year, so I'm happy for the direction we're going in. It's just that, you know, when we lost Mac at the center, then our run game just went south, you know, because he was the leader of the offensive line. But I'm just saying, be consistent. Stop being inconsistent, because being inconsistent is not going to help. I mean, man, I'll be dead and gone before we win the Super Bowl.
I'm with you, Kevin. No, I'm totally with what you're saying. I know I'm up against it here, man, but I agree with what you said, and that's why when you're in a place where you go, man, all right, it seems like you got some building blocks in place. We've got a little bit of positive momentum moving forward. That's the point where you don't want to start all over again, you know, because then you're just always building. The Browns are not contenders right now, but they're in a place where they can add pieces in the draft and the offseason and be a very solid football team. But if you start over now, then we're doing it all, like you said, we're doing it all again, man. And every Browns fan deserves better, especially you, a Browns fan living in Pennsylvania, my friend. I've got to say, I appreciate that. You're in enemy country out there, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, nobody likes me here, but I don't care.
Bet.
Because, I mean, my dad was a Browns fan, and I'm a Browns fan.
You got it, man. Kevin, I got to let you go. Thank you very much for the call, my brother.
All right, take care, man.
You got it. Great phone call, guys. Keep them coming in. Even if the phones aren't open, you can leave your take 24 hours a day on the hotline, 216-539-7535. We're going to take a break. Let's get Jon McMullen in on this conversation, see where he's at on this. We'll get him in on the show. Dan Wismar is coming up a little bit from now, talking about the Browns, the Buckeyes. We've got Cavs talking so much more. Don't go anywhere. We've just got rolling. Do me a favor. Do us all a favor. Tell somebody to tune into the show if you like what you're hearing. Share the link on whatever site you're listening to. Tell somebody else to join us with Jon McMullen joining us next here on the Sports Fix.
They say the heart of rock and roll is still beating, and from what I've seen, I believe them. Now the other may be there to breathe them, but the heart of rock and roll is still beating, yeah. In Cleveland, Detroit.
The Sports Fix, the show that asks the question,
What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou?
We'll be right back.
Sports Fix listeners, you've heard me talking about it. Millionaires being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. I've been playing there too. It's now J-Rock's favorite one-week fantasy football site. What's one-week fantasy football? That means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Have a player who's hurt? That's no problem at all because you change everything week to week. Injuries don't derail your chance at victory. It's a new season every week. You're never stuck with the same players. You can pick your team in just minutes and be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000. And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day. $1 million just for playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play for free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs.
And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase.
Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. Real time spent making real decisions, creating real victory.
I'm the greatest man in the world!
And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize.
I mean, a really real prize.
Yeah. Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs.
The trophy's 12 feet high, and it is glorious!
Football, baseball, hoops, you name it, they have it. Plus, they have awesome draft kits and party supplies to make all your preseason activities the envy of everyone. If your league needs a ring, belt, or trophy, or you want to upgrade what you already have, there's literally only one place to go. If you're going to be a fantasy jock, do it right.
It's mine, the most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine.
With America's fantasy sports superstore, FantasyJocks.com.
Now, back to the Sports Fix.